That fresh produce stand there, that's a beauty.
What do you listen to?
My favorite murder podcast.
Taggart and Torrance podcast.
The produce stand.
Fucking sexy.
You heard the man. It's the Produce Stand, your favorite source for everything in the universe. I'm Al, your host. Matt, Victor are on the mics. No Tanya today. She's at work. But today we're going to get to know the dirtiest player in the no show next to Shoresy, of course. And just like Dolo, we're feeling blessed to introduce our guest. He's a former pro hockey player from Brampton, Ontario, playing in several countries around the globe, including Canada, the US, UK, and Italy. He's the owner and head instructor of BB Varsity Hockey, but we all know and love him as Sly Sylvestri, the dirty player from the Vaughan Canadesi. Please join me in making some noise for Brad Bonesy Bonello.
Who wants to set the tone, boys? Who's gonna fucking set it? Yeah! Whoa! Let's get on the go, boys! This team will never lose again.
Welcome.
That's quite the introduction right there. I appreciate that.
Welcome to the Produce Stand. Brad, how are you now?
I'm doing well, thanks. Like I was just saying a little bit off air, that just getting back to reality. Fatherhood, I call it Uber driving, ATM, whatever. Like that's reality for us when we get back to the real world.
Amazing. Yeah. Now you say back to the real world because you just got back from your whirlwind Shoresy Classic tour. How did you enjoy that?
You know what? It was a tremendous experience. Like I didn't expect to play in all of the venues that I did play in.
Really?
Jared was kind enough to insert me in the Toronto lineup, and knowing obviously being a Toronto boy or just outside of Toronto, it was a nice gesture by him. I went out and played, and at the end of the game, he actually came to me and Cam Fergus, who's McPherson, and said, "We need you guys on the rest of the tour." So
nice.
It was a pleasant surprise, and it was something that I will definitely never forget in my life.
Yeah, I know we had Neil Clark on last month, and he was waiting by the phone, hoping he'd get the call too. But I got to say, I'm surprised that you were surprised that you got any playing time, because we were at the Toronto game and you were a standout, man. You looked way better than most of your teammates out there.
Well, like, listen, I still do play real senior A hockey,
sure.
So like I should be a little bit ahead of these guys that are just kind of, playing some men's league and some charity events. But let's be honest. I'll be honest. I'm not going to lie. I was taking it as a tryout, and so was Fergie. So we said, we're going to go in here. We're going to try to make the boss look good. And hopefully we do get the nod for the rest of the tour.
I remember seeing you come down the wing at one point going, holy shit, Sylvestri can skate still. Like you're yeah, I think you were rivaling Hitchcock there for wheels. Anyway, I thought you did pretty good.
Like in the end of the day, like everybody that watches the show and is educated on the people in the show is that we all played hockey for the most part at a very high level, and we all really do love the game. Like this is just like a cherry on top, is that we're able to be a part of a show that is basically been our lives.
Yeah.
Like a lot of us don't have to act. So when we go out on the ice, and it's funny you say that, because around the tour, people say, man, you can play, man, you're good, man. And this goes for every guy on the ice. And we tell them, guys, like, we played pro hockey from 7 to 10, to 12 years. Like, it doesn't just go away. Like,
they should be saying, man, you can act.
No, right. Yeah. Well, that's another part, is that Jared's such a genius that every guy that's been casted for their role in this whole thing is really just a part of who they are in reality. And we don't have to act. So he's made us look really good, really fast.
Makes you naturally fit into it, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Like it's, basically getting just the Sylvestri role was a surprise, but it was brought up, and somebody on the production side of it said, I do know the human being.
We'll get to that, because we like to kind of tell your story before we get to Shoresy, right? Yeah. So first of all, where are you speaking to us from?
I'm in Bradford, Ontario.
Bradford, Ontario, my hometown, born and raised, bud. I mean, I'm literally 10 minutes away from you right now. I'm in Holland Landing, but
yeah, you know what? I didn't even know where Bradford was. I actually met.
Most still
funny
don't.
enough, my boy's mom. I met her on. Funny enough, I met her on Match.com.
Oh, wow.
My ex-wife. I gotta say ex-wife, but great co-parents. That's it was one of those things. I drove up to Bradford, Ontario, and I said, "Where am I? Like this is." I was a Brampton boy.
Yeah.
It's about a 45-minute, 50-minute drive, and I'm like, I'm driving all the way out here to meet a girl. This is crazy. And then when I got here 12 years ago, it's not what it is now.
No.
Like it is super developed.
Oh,
this was considered country.
Yeah. Oh, let me tell you, before you arrived, 12 years before that, growing up in it was a one stoplight town, right? Like the Village Inn, that was it. The Four Corners was
That's right. Yeah. Everybody knows the Village Inn.
I know the owner. I went to high school with the guy. So like, yeah.
It's similar to the Colson and Diamond.
It is. You are correct. You are correct. There's a strip club side and there's a bar side. Right. Yes, it's very awesome. Similar. Yeah. Amazing. But
you said you grew up in Brampton. I'm a Brampton boy. That's where born and raised. Yeah, spent my whole life. I lived in born in the Bramley area, grew up in Heart Lake.
That's where I grew up in Bramley. I don't say Bramley because not too many are familiar with it, but I was in the M section because we always referred to it.
I was in the L section.
There you go. We all referred to it in just the alphabetical, where it fell. And I went to St. Anthony's Elementary School, and then I went to St. Thomas Aquinas High School.
Yeah. I had some friends. I knew a couple of people at St. Aquinas or at Aquinas. So yeah, know well.
Amazing.
Yeah. So
I'm going to assume, like every other Canadian hockey player anyway, you grew up, you started hockey at a very early age.
Yeah. I started skating / playing probably around 4 years old.
Wow.
I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I didn't want to play hockey. I was not a hockey guy. And all of the, my coworkers, the cast now know this, that I'm a huge wrestling fanatic. Like I loved wrestling. My dad's brother was, a referee in the WWF back in the day.
Really?
My dad loved the game of hockey, wanted this hockey player's son, and all I wanted to do is be a wrestler. Right. And, the harsh reality is that, even at 4 or 5 years old, when my dad, I still remember saying, son, you're going to be a foot taller than a duck. You ain't going to be a wrestler. So you better pick something else, son. And, we go public skating every Sunday. I hated every minute of it. Yeah. I didn't want to skate. My dad and sister would just wheel around, and they had the coned off area in one end where the babies would skate. And they would come by and they literally would make fun of me. They would chirp me from the age of 4 or 5 years old. They would chirp me. And then finally I said, fuck this. I'm out of here. I broke out of those pylons and started chasing them down. And I think my dad was happy that his plan probably worked.
Yeah. Foot taller than a duck is I could hear that from Wayne from Letterkenny. Like that's such I love it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, growing up in Brampton, you weren't into hockey. It's funny because now you might know Bradford a bit better, but the high school I went to, Holy Trinity in Bradford, very small high school, 350 students. We had lots of Portuguese and Italians there. I'm Portuguese. And so we didn't have much of a hockey team or about any other team, but we had a hell of a soccer team, and we were always in OFSAs and stuff for a small high school because of that, all the Portuguese and Italians in town.
Yeah. You know what? I gathered that when I moved here. I married an Italian. I didn't marry a Portuguese. I married an Italian.
Yeah.
And then when my boys were born, we, figured we had to get them in some kind of sports and activities. And they went to the Bradford Soccer Club, which is fully Portuguese.
Oh yeah.
And,
I know the owners. Yeah.
and they listen, I could pass for Portuguese or Italian.
Oh yes, you can.
And this is a spoiler. I'm not either.
Really? Wait, with a name like Bonello, you're not?
I'm Maltese.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, that's adjacent.
Yeah.
You know what?
You're careful what you say here, Victor.
Well, listen, my ex-father-in-law, God rest his soul, he used to call me the Italian Newfie. That's what he basically called me. So, the little island off of Italy.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
that's like an Italian, but more hairy.
Yeah,
is what I understand.
Wait a minute. How did he get hairier than Italian? Well, Portuguese, I guess.
Maltese.
And Maltese. It's funny because one of our listeners, Mike Bonelli, in New Jersey, he was wondering if there was any kind of family ties there. But he's I think Italian American. So maybe that's the reason why you're Bonello and not Bonelli.
Yeah. You know what? It's I might be mispronouncing mispronouncing this or whatever. It was funny when I played in Italy. They used to make fun of me because there was one's called a Brunello, which is like a fine wine, or and a Brunello. I don't know what the other word was, but it was like the cheap wine.
Right.
They used to call me the cheap wine because it was like the Maltese. You're a Maltese is like the Italian Newfie. You're the cheap one, right? So, anyways, it was. Listen, it was funny that I got this part. My grandfather, again, God rest his soul, would be probably rolling over in his grave knowing I'm playing in Italian.
Yeah.
Wasn't a Maltese, but
for the Von Canadesi in the West. I love it.
Yeah, listen, I got probably one of the most Italian seems last names there is, so it fits.
So I mean, you've played all over the world. Like I was looking at your hockey DB, and in the beginning, it looked pretty standard, you know, OHL, AHL, going through that, ECHL. But then I noticed you played in the UK, you played in Scotland. What was it like playing hockey in Scotland?
Yeah, you know what? It was definitely a culture shock.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, and I use this one on the question and answer with the VIP people on tour. When they got to, you know, learn a little bit about us, I said, my theme song to my life is I've Been Everywhere, Man, like from Johnny Cash. So if you look at my hockey DB, that's pretty similar. But when I made the stop in Scotland, it was pretty easy, though, because we had 12 imports per team.
Right.
So you were playing North American hockey on Olympic ice, North American rules. It's pretty much the only league over there at the time where fighting was accepted.
Or probably encouraged. The
KHL came after, but that was like the only league. So, you know, it was normal North American hockey just on Olympic ice. And I remember when I went over there, I played a very antagonist role when I was really playing hockey. Darcy Tucker-ish.
Right. You were a shit disturber.
Yes. And when I went over there, it was funny because I'm trying to chase guys around the ice to hit them. And it's like 100-foot pass this way to another 100-foot pass this way. I'm like, I went around the first shift skating 100 miles an hour and I didn't touch a soul.
Yeah.
And then I came back to the bench huffing and puffing. My coach is like, hey, Bones, you can't play like that over here. I said, then I looked at him straight in the face. I said, well, then why did you bring me here?
Right. Well, that explains your wheels, though, because if you were playing on Olympic size ice, that must have been a lot of skating for you.
Yeah, listen, like I said, foot taller than a duck my whole life. I've had to move these legs 3 times faster than the guy who had one long stride. So.
Right.
Well, and on that note, like I watched a clip of you on something else. You were talking about growing up, and you know, everyone wants to be a goal scorer, but you had to find a different way to hit the game, and you described yourself as a rat or a pest.
Yeah.
Like was that like how did that evolve and then fit into these different markets as well?
So like when I grew up, from the age of I cut out 5, 6 years old. Like that's just, you know, at this time, baby hockey. It's still all baby hockey, but 7 to 12, I was probably considered top 2 in the whole age group. Like I could, you know, it was myself and Rick Nash that dominated hockey at our level in 1984 birth year. And then obviously puberty kicks in and everything else. But like hockey was very easy for me from those ages. And I was scoring a lot. And then all of a sudden puberty came at 12 years old. My dad passed away 6 days after my 13th birthday. I had a lot of adversity to get through. I had a little bit of anger, you know, and I kind of just incorporated in my game. And I had some friends of mine. My best friend on the planet is Adam Keefe, and he coaches over in Belfast. His brother Sheldon Keefe, they're 4 years older. His group of friends 4 years older in the OHL. Watch them, small guys, and it just basically they were absolute menaces on the ice, but they could play. So I said, I want to make sure that I could, you know, play in that Ontario Hockey League level at this time. And I said, I have to add something to my game. And it basically just became, I'm going to be a super rat that people want to kill, you know, draw penalties, fight when I have to. But I also knew when I drew penalties, I was still good enough to go on the power play. So it was a double-edged sword.
Right.
So I was doing our team a favor, but I was also doing myself a favor because I knew I was going to get on the power play at some point, whether it was power play 1, power play 2. As I grew older from the OHL to pro, the more of the rat kicked in because, you know, listen, you're playing with the best players at that time in that level of hockey you're playing. So, you know, I tell people now I coach minor hockey and I have conversations with fathers, and they all want their kid to be the guy. They all want him to be the guy. They want him to be the top goal scorer. They want him to be centerman, this and that. And I said, guys, you can be the guy. Have your kid be the guy. I'm going to have my kid be able to play from spot 3 to spot 9. I said, do the math here. I go, I'm a gambling man. I said, he has now 6 spots to fill or 7 spots to fill, as opposed to your kid who can only play 2.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make sure that that's, embedded in him from the start. You guys can have your glory right now. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And some parents listen to you, some parents don't. So I try to take my personal experiences in hockey and now pass them on to the youth. And, being selfish, my kids' team that I coach. And, I have the group of loyal families that believe in what I'm saying. And then I have the other naysayers, and they're always the ones that move on, which is fine. And we all live and learn a certain way.
Yeah.
And you know what? Everybody brings up Sean Avery, but I'm telling you, look at Claude Lemieux. That guy is my favorite Conn Smythe winner of all time. Well, actually, no, that would be Hextall, but then Lemieux. And
well, you're a Devils fan, though. You don't count.
Yeah, but Lemieux was a shit disturber.
Yeah,
and
he was.
He was basically a rat.
Yeah.
Listen, in the end of the day, those are the type of players you want to go to war with. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
Exactly.
A lot of people, they hate you when you're not on their team. They love you when you're on their team. And I've been traded a few times in my career, as you can tell, in my hockey DB. And every time I walked into a room, being the new guy, a lot of guys would say, I fucking hated you.
Yeah.
I hate you. And it's like, then it's all of a sudden we're best buddies by the end of the year.
Oh, I hated Darcy Tucker before he joined the Leafs, but then when he joined the Leafs, he became one of my favorite players for sure.
That's right, man. It's it's definitely a role that I think, I'll be honest with you, it's dying in the National Hockey League. And I'm happy to see guys like Matthew Tkachuk and Brady Tkachuk and
I hate
Tom
those
Wilson.
2 guys.
But that's what I mean. But I'll tell you right now, if they were on your favorite team, whether it's the Leafs or whoever it is, you'd be like, this is awesome.
100%. 100%.
So look at all of us being Leaf fans. We had the minor hope that we were going to get Brad Marchand this summer. We fucking couldn't stand this guy.
Yeah.
In Boston.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh my God, we're going to get him. He wants to play in Toronto. This is the best thing ever. And then when he goes to Florida, we're like, I fucking hate that guy.
Yeah, fuck him.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Well, I even saw not at that level, but during the Olympic run here, and then Marner with a big goal a couple games back. I was like, oh wait, so do we like Marner again?
No, I tell everybody, I'm like, holy, it's funny. So we had the most Canadian thing going yesterday. My kids actually had to skate on the ice 11 to 12 yesterday. Bad, poor planning by the manager, but we had a projector up in the room while the kids were getting ready.
Yeah.
Watching the game, getting ready. We caught the full third period. And, when Marner scored that goal in the semifinal game, I said to people, he wasn't good enough to play for the Leafs. Remember that? Everybody's you booed this guy out of the city.
Yeah.
No smart hockey fan.
No, I didn't. I loved Marner. I thought the Leafs hadn't had somebody
you
with.
got rid of 100-point player. Think of this.
Yeah.
Rid of
He was not the problem.
No, the Leafs haven't had a player with that kind of skills since McGillney, like a player who can create for himself. Marner was, Anyway, I don't want to get into that because I think some of my listeners will be like, "What the fuck?" Because
fuck. Let's why. Well, in the end of the day, it's the reality of it. Austin Matthews is not who he is without.
No, he can't create his own chances. He's a great shooter and whatever, but he doesn't create. And Marner did.
He doesn't make guys better.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
Exactly.
He's a great recipient of the puck, and he can do his job.
100%.
Batman and Robin, he definitely needs his Robin. That's for sure.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: then. As a coach, coming from a world where you describe yourself as a pest and a rat, and the way the game's evolving, and even this season that just came out, where a big topic is. The brutality on the ice, it's diminishing. How do you approach that as a coach with today's youth? How do you balance that out? I don't.
Okay. I'll be honest with you. I probably have the most hated reputation of being a coach in minor hockey because of it. And I just tell them, guys, I'm going to coach this way. I'm going to develop this way. Our team is going to play this way. We're going to take penalties. Don't be mad. Don't get upset. people are going to scream and yell at your kid. Just stay quiet in the crowd. As long as it's not stupid. There's no hitting from behind. There's no using your stick. But like, we are going to play tough. We are going to play when there's a 50-50 puck. You are going in there as the aggressor, because I feel kids need to know if you go in there timid, that's when you're going to get hurt.
Yep.
I tell them, you got to expect, and this is 8 years old. I go, you got to expect a car crash. There's going to be a car crash there. So if you want to go in there at 50% and that guy's going 100, I don't like your chances. And, our kids play extremely tough. And probably since the age of 6 years old, so 6, 7, 8, we don't have body contact in Hockey Canada until they're like 13, 14.
Yeah.
For the last 15 minutes of practice, I almost do full contact since they were 6 years old. And I tell the parents, if you don't like it, that's fine. You can take your child off the ice. I'll not hold it against you.
Yeah.
But I want to teach the kids how to protect themselves and be aggressive in certain situations that is going to make them better off in the long run. Because I think it's absolutely stupid that you're learning to hit guys at 14 years old when some kids have hit puberty almost fully. Some kids have barely hit puberty.
Yeah.
Now there's a 30-pound difference in weight. There's a 6-inch difference in height. Like, at least at this point, all of the kids are remotely the same size.
Yeah.
They're not going to get hurt. They're going to understand.
And they're not skating at high speed either at that age.
That's right.
Yeah.
No.
That's right.
And I guess it's no different than, like, you take any martial arts or anything like that, where a lot of kids are put in their young age, and the mentality isn't we're teaching you to kick someone's ass. We're teaching you how to be ready and how to prepare and have that confidence in that situation. So I get when they hit that age, they've already got some, groundwork, and then they can build from there.
I think it just also like it also helps with the tenacity and the competitiveness of the child. The way that I look at it is I've coached older age groups. It's very hard. I'm going to use it in my terms. It's hard to put balls in a kid when he becomes 14 years old. You've either start putting balls in a kid or have him develop those balls from such a young age, or you better be ultra skilled. Like, you better be fucking Pavel Datsyuk.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? So I know my child is not Pavel Datsyuk, and I do not look through rose-colored glasses. So I say, son, there's 3 things you got to play with: head, heart, and balls. That is it. So, I get myself into trouble a little bit because he is more or less playing at 14-year-old game at 8. And there's some days we walk out of the rink and I got my arm around him, and it's like we're the 2 most hated people in the rink. And I'm just basically telling him I'm proud of him.
So basically,
so I don't know. It's a mixed message.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. It's a mixed message, but as long as he's not stupid, I'm okay with it.
All right. I just want one last stop before we get into Shoresy, because we heard Morasti with his stories about playing in Russia. We've heard a little bit about your experience playing in Scotland. You finished up your pro career, I guess, in Italy. And we made a lot of fun at the fact that people think you're Italian, but you're not. But what was that like playing in Italy?
Listen, that was, if I could have played there for 12 years, I would have stayed there for 12 years.
Oh, yeah?
I ended up getting hurt my last year. That kind of derailed me from actually even just signing and going back and continuing on. Grandparents were dying. My sister was having kids at the time. She had twins as well.
Right.
And you know what? You just miss out on a lot. I was single at the time too, so it would have been an easy transition to play forever.
Sure.
But I got to Italy. No idea they shut the town down from like 12 to 1 every day. I'm in the grocery store getting groceries.
It's siesta time, yeah.
Siesta, yeah. And I'm getting groceries, and like they're saying something over the PA, and obviously it's in Italian. I don't speak Italian. And one of the workers comes and goes, no, leave the cart right here. I go, what do you mean leave the cart right here? Like, it's full. I got a pregame meal I got to cook.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, we shut the store down till 1 o'clock or 1:30. Come back. Your cart will be right here with your stuff in it. Well, I leave the thing. You should see these guys sprinting from their jobs to the local cafe to have a spritz or a wine or an espresso. And then they're racing home to have a nap. I'm like, this is like fantasy world, like fantasy world. So I'd be home I'd be in my little, villa, and the Italians liked us, but you could tell there was a little bit of animosity because the North Americans or the imports, we got paid well.
Right.
So we made the money and they still had to have a job.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm out on my balcony and I'm looking down and my captain is fucking walking the village. And I'm like, hey, Lorenzo, get to bed. We got a game tonight. He's like, get to bed. He's like, I got to work. All you Canadians come and take all of our money. I said, what are you doing working?
Yeah.
He was the fucking mailman in the village. I'm like, our captain's the mailman walking around the village. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is crazy. But sure enough, 1 o'clock hit or 1:30, whatever it was, race back to the store. Your cart's there. You pay for your groceries, go back home. It was awesome. The hockey is so lax, so relaxed. You played 44 games. Your body didn't take a beating. At that point, there's no fighting, barely any hitting. I literally call it a little step up from senior A, what I play now.
Sure. Okay.
But you get paid way more.
Right.
There you go.
And I know you're pretty much a fitness freak though. Like, would it have been hard for you though to stay in Italy and stay fit, like with all the bread and pasta and
Yeah, but you know what? There's that's the one thing is that there's no preservatives in that food like we have here.
Mm-hmm.
So like you go get a pizza, you'll eat the whole pizza because there's no preservatives. It's not bloaty. It's thin crust. Like it's awesome. The pasta you eat, you don't have to eat a bowl like this to get full. Like here, there you get a small bowl and it's like just fresh and just
it's perfect.
Listen, we're always, first of all, you live in the mountains, so you're always walking uphill, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You're on the ice every day. It's I'll be honest, I felt like there was a lot of fit people in Italy when I was there.
Sure. I think my undoing would be the bread. But anyway, let's we're going to move on. We're at halfway through this interview and we haven't spoken about Shoresy yet. How did you get involved with Shoresy?
So I don't even know if I'm supposed to say this, but Cam, who's McPherson, who's our stunt coordinator. I guess he was part of a production meeting, season 3, and the character of Sly Sylvestri came to the table and they read him off and Cam spoke up and said, I do know the human being to this character. And they said, is he an actor? He said, no, he's a hockey player. Will he do this? He says, I don't know, fire him off an email. But I'm not going to talk to him because I don't want to get his hopes up.
Yeah.
I got an email that said Shoresy 3 in the headline. And I'm like, I thought it was spam. Like every other one of us, we all thought it was spam. Like, this is not real. So I clicked on it and it said, you've been highly recommended for this part. Would you do a self-tape? And I literally was like, I just put yup. I put 3 letters, yup. Like really arrogant, ignorant asshole.
That's okay. You're probably doing a character.
Well, we're just learning that you're exactly your character anyway, so there's no acting involved.
So really it fit. So I sent this off and within 30 minutes I got a script and I go, holy fuck, this is real. Yeah. This is not spam. And I did the part. And the first one I did, the first take I did, again, Europeans, Italians, I'm sure Portuguese, Maltese, we all talk with our hands. Yep. Our fucking hands are moving. Yep. And I do like to think that I'm a jokester. Like I'm a very lighthearted guy. I like to be the guy who lightens up the room and so forth. So the way I did the part, they're like, listen, can you just be more stoic? Again, tell an OHL hockey player with that kind of education what stoic means. I'm like, fuck is stoic? I don't know what this is.
So after you ChatGPT'd it, then you went.
I looked it up and I'm like, well, okay, well, fuck, who's stoic actors? And they're like, fucking Clint Eastwood. I go, fuck, like I'm Clint Eastwood. Like Clint Eastwood, Jason Statham, fucking, what's his name there? Nielsen there, whatever his name is.
Liam Neeson.
Yeah. So Liam Neeson. And I'm like, okay, so just basically be boring. Like an asshole and boring. So I just stood there straight, said my part, and I got a message back, said, yeah, Jared loves you, you're in. And I'm like, fuck, well. And that's where it came from. So
that's awesome.
Did you ever have any idea or any consideration of acting before this?
None whatsoever. And you know what? When I got the part, I did call Cam and I said, Cam, I'm in Shoresy. And he's like, I know. I so what the fuck you know? What do you mean you know? And he's like, well, I kind of recommended you. And I said, you didn't fucking tell me, like, or give me a heads up. I could have at least practiced a little bit. Like, he goes, yeah, I didn't want to get your hopes up. You know, this is this industry. You never know if you're going to get the call. And the rest is history. So now he says he's my agent. He wants 10% of everything.
Is it safe to say that you'd seen Shoresy prior to this?
Oh, well.
Or no, and that's okay. We've talked to many of us that had no idea.
You know what? It's not about no idea. I think a lot of us hockey guys are assholes in the way that we feel that when hockey shows or movies are done, they're done poorly.
They're gonna
and
fuck
you
it
just
up.
don't want to fucking watch them.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck this. Like, I'm not watching this. So to be honest with you, I caught, pieces here and there. I did not. But once I got it, I said, fuck, I better catch up on this because I don't want to look like an idiot.
Right.
So then I binge watched it and I'm like, this is awesome. This is so relatable. It's very funny, very realistic. But the kicker was the hockey was fucking great.
Yeah.
So, and you're not watching hockey where in Youngblood, Dean Youngblood is fucking right-handed or left-handed on the pond at the beginning of it and right-handed when he's going to take his penalty shot.
Yeah.
You got the Mighty Ducks where Adam Banks is on a penalty shot, but he's on the bench cheering and then he scores. It's like, okay, these guys fucking did it right. And I feel like that's the hockey mentality that we have when we see those types of shows. It's, let's be honest, it's a form of slap shot and we all love fucking slap shot growing up. And listen, Jared's a genius. He's done a tremendous job and he's taken, 85% of hockey players that are on this show and made us look really good.
Yeah, well, we had him on a couple of years ago. That was one of the biggest things he said is that, I can teach a hockey player to act, but I can't teach an actor to play hockey.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And you know what?
that's
And
been
I'll
the
be honest,
mentality.
like Cam Fergus is, we talk a lot about it. And again, I if somebody stuck their neck out for me, I want to make sure they look good. And I don't want to make them look bad. That's, Cam's livelihood isn't in the film industry. So I was like, we talk about it and he's like, when we're doing all these scenes and stuff, he's making sure that, we're all doing it the way that Jared wants and how the show is supposed to be. And we can do it because we do have that experience on the ice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Did you have any knowledge of, did you know anything about Letterkenny before Shoresy?
No, I didn't.
No.
And I'll be honest, I'm kind of on John's page. And John, and like we both, like I kind of thought it was fucking dumb for a little bit, and I'm like, and it's weird because again, remember when we're growing up as hockey players, and I'll give a prime example. I went to go play Tier 2 Junior A in Wellington, and Wellington reminds me of Listowel, Letterkenny, that small town thing. So when the hockey player went in there, we didn't get along with the locals. The locals didn't like us.
Yeah.
It was exactly how that was. You fought the locals because you were taking their girlfriends. Like it would that's how we lived. And like, to be honest with you, there's parts of it where I just didn't, like the goth part of it, I didn't understand like the goth characters but listen,
you're getting a thumbs up from Victor because he was also utterly confused about some of that stuff.
Yeah. So, but like in the end of the day, after a while, I started watching. I appreciate it.
Sure.
I see familiar faces on the show.
Yeah.
Now I've taken a liking and I respect the way that people are able to adapt to certain roles. I say this now jokingly is that I'd love another part somewhere like outside of hockey.
All right.
Just to go. I can consider myself a bit of an actor now, but I play a different role.
Sure. Okay. Well, one of our listeners, Tobias from Missouri, this kind of dovetails well into his question. What would your dream role be now that you've got this acting bug?
Like I'll be honest, I think I'd be slated into a drug dealer, cop, firefighter type military type of role. I think I could do, again, anything athletic, like a fighting type of role. Like I really enjoyed the movie Warrior with Tom Hardy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
respect the top 10 for me. That's a sick movie.
Yeah. I respect what The Rock did, right? With the last one as well. I can't see myself doing Hallmark love stories. That's not, I don't think I could fit that role. But I'd love to play like, Yeah, just like basically, I think military type-ish, drug, cop infiltrating, drug dealing type of role.
Some kind of an authoritative figure of some nature. Yeah.
Yeah, like, it's something like that. I'll be honest though, if I really could pick, I'd love to be part of a horror movie. I love horror, and I grew up, the Jason, the Freddy, the Chuckies, the Michael Myers, like that genre of movie I really enjoy, and I just love to see how it would be made and produced.
Sure.
To be honest with you.
Yeah.
So,
well, you mentioned, how they shoot hockey on Shoresy and how realistic it is. I mean, we were there as extras. I think the season you guys were there, I think it was season 3. We were in the crowd and in the arena watching how they were shooting these scenes, and they were basically running like real hockey drills, and the camera people were just there capturing it. And because you guys are all hockey players, that's where you get the authenticity, right? So, I mean, we
when it's time for us to do those plays, we're probably the most comfortable that we are the whole time that we're there.
Yeah. I'm sure.
And it's obvious. It shows when we were there, you could see it. It felt like we were watching a real game at some points. It was the intensity.
So like doing those drills are like probably drills and plays that we've done a million times. Like the real actors that have done these, roles, or, obviously, like say crying scenes when they're able to cry. Like, I'm like, holy fuck, how do you do that? Like, you know what I mean? Where for us, it's like, how did he make that drop pass to saucer pass to that guy to the back door? Like, that's just who we are, right?
Yeah. That's awesome.
Dennis from the UK, who's actually watching on the live stream from his gym. That's how dedicated he is. His question he always asks when we do our interviews is, who is the best player on the cast? Who do you think the best player on the cast is?
Oof, that's a tough one, actually.
And don't be afraid. They've all had answers.
Yeah, they've all had. Some of them have answered themselves, but mostly,
like, listen, it's every. I feel that there was a slew of different hockey players on the cast. Clearly,
yeah.
If you wanted to take guys who are obviously been most successful or won 3 Stanley Cups, like you can't.
Yeah, you can't take away from Jordan, right?
Jordan being a Stanley Cup winner 3 times over, you can't take that away from him because he was a 3rd, 4th line guy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, in the National Hockey League. A great hockey player. Listen, Terry loves the game. You could tell that he at one point he was an 8th overall pick. He's still flying around.
But he's still got, I think, one of the best shots on that team.
Dolo, he's a heck of a hockey player. So to say the best is tough for me. I have to go with first, look at John. John was the best at what he did. John beat the piss out of people constantly. And he very rarely lost, if I've ever seen him lose ever.
Yeah.
So he could be the best because he's the best at what he does.
And when you say John, you're saying John Morasti.
Morasti, yeah. So, everybody has, their positives for sure. But I got to go with 3-time Stanley Cup champion. That's
Jordan.
You can't discredit that.
That's the easy answer. It's funny with Morasti. Was it Brandon? I think we asked Brandon because Brandon was a bit of a tough guy too. And we asked him if he ever fought Morasti, and he said, "Hell no! Are you kidding me?"
That's 2 different types of tough.
Yeah. Yes.
John Morasti, you could hit with a baseball bat, and you're not going to hurt him.
Right. Yeah.
So what's the point of fighting that guy?
How would you get under his skin if you had to play against him?
Oh, it would be easy, but it would be very easy. But it's because those guys, listen, they don't want to be fucked around with, because if you're a skill guy, middleweight, lightweight, they don't want to beat you up, but they'll let you go to a certain point of antagonizing them before they look at you in the face and go, I'm going to break your fucking face if you do that again. And then that's at the point where you go, I got you. All right. Good. So, you know what I mean?
Message
that's
received.
As far as you really want to go.
Yeah.
Unless you have a death wish.
Sure.
Yeah.
Dennis from the UK with a second question, and I think he's trying to be a rat here and asking this, but he's asking, if hockey players are so tough, why don't they play rugby?
Hey, listen, I think that's a different kind of tough. I think that's a different kind of CTE brain, that I always say.
Cauliflower ear, all this stuff. Yeah.
I have a niece that plays rugby very competitively, and I even say to her, you have no brain cells left. That is for sure.
Wow.
I don't know how they do it. They're extremely tough, different type of tough. I feel that even though they have no equipment on, we're moving faster when we hit each other. We have equipment on, so I do have respect for rugby players. So I'm not going to chirp them by any means. And I guess, the New Zealand team has the best intro / intimidating chant I've ever seen. So I have respect for them and their sport. And I think they should have respect for the hockey players as well.
You can enjoy both, is what I can say.
I feel like I forgot to ask this, but I mean, you watched the gold medal game, obviously, because you were with your sons in the rink. I mean, what did you think? What did you think of the game?
Listen, it was one of the most entertaining hockey games I've seen in a long time.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
You don't capitalize on your chances, you fucking lose. It's just the way it is.
Oh yeah,
it was like
they dominated. They had more chances. McKinnon's going to be crying over that.
Yeah, he's going to be waking up in cold sweats
that was
for a long time.
Let's be honest. Like, for as dominating as he's been in the last, let's say, 10 years, that was his moment.
Yeah.
And you fumble fucked it for the country. I like the guy. Listen, that shit happens to everybody.
Sure. It happened to Lemieux. It happened to Mary
Connor
Lemieux.
had a breakaway. There's lots of
there's lots of blame to go around.
Fucking Taze is inside of the crease where he could have just, And it's funny. I told my
was a great save though.
I told my son, listen, that's lucky as fuck. I don't care what anybody says.
Hey, when it's a save, it's a save.
I said to I have a son who's a goalie and I have a son who's a player. And I said, son, this is why you fucking drive that puck through the back of the net. So like his stick ain't going to stop you like that. If you really take it and drive it through, if you take it for granted, that shit happens. And then I said to my goalie son, I said, you see how he didn't fucking give up? He threw everything at it. So I had two different conversations going with two different kids, but listen, we had our chances. Listen, the United States were in the gold medal game for a reason.
Yeah.
The game was tight for a reason. They were winning the game for 75% of the game. Who cares about chances? It's about results and what's there in the end. And
I listen. I like that Canada dominated. They were clearly a better team, but the fact that the U.S. won and they got to get Gaudreau and
that was fantastic.
That to me, kind of, let them have it. That was all worth it for me.
Listen, I don't like to let anybody have anything. I love the fact that they did it, but listen, Cale Makar went, in my opinion, from being the hero to the GOAT, because if you watch that play, he pinched when he shouldn't have. I think he should have backed out. But on the one angle, he stopped back checking in the neutral zone. He literally stopped back checking and just glided until he saw the pass was going to Hughes, and he's like, "Oh shit, I better skate." You're in the gold medal game now,
and you're playing 3-on-3 too. You can't stop.
I think that's fucking stupid.
Can't stop. Yeah,
that's stupid.
Yeah.
I think that's fucking dumb.
It's stupid when you lose. Yeah.
No, I think it's dumb regardless. And shootouts in that pressure packed type of game, but it's been like that forever. So, but
it is what it is.
That's right. But for me, I think 5-on-5 overtime. If you go to a shootout, you go to a shootout. It is what it is. But
they had the closing ceremonies an hour after that, so there's no way. That's the problem in the Olympics. They need to finish the games early.
Yeah, they were saying that it had something to do with obviously the TV time and so forth, right? Yeah. So it is what it is. Hey, what is it? Fucking tight hockey game. One shot ends it for one team, right?
Yeah, we were better. They won. Whatever. We'll get them next time.
That's it.
So Brad, before we started recording, you kind of mentioned a little bit of how things have changed for you since you joined Shoresy. You're getting like old high school friends calling you up and stuff like that. I mean, so talk a little bit about that. How has your life changed?
I wouldn't say it's changed, but it's a different. I'll be honest, a lot of my high school friends were really impressed with the fact, like, when you played hockey growing up in high school and you got drafted to the OHL, they were happy about that. And then you kind of fall away from your friends, and then all of a sudden they see you on TV.
Right.
And it's like, holy fuck.
I know that TV. Guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, Brad's on TV. I know that guy. I went to high school with that guy. So they want to, prove to their friend that they know who that guy is. And like, listen, I'll be honest. I tell everybody I enjoy it. And, maybe I'm an attention whore or whatever you want to say, but it's nice. It's nice feeling that way. You know what I mean? Like, I see a lot of us hockey players that have finished playing hockey and you jump into the real world, and whether you're in finance or anything outside a tradesman, you you're not as relevant as you once were. So that dopamine you had in your brain, how you felt, how the adrenaline you had, how nice it was to come out after games and people really liked you or wanted your autograph or wanted a picture. That's all gone.
Yeah.
So like for a group of hockey players, I don't care how humbling guys may speak at times. I know inside of probably everybody on the cast, they enjoy it to an extent.
Sure.
It's nice. It's a nice feeling to feel relevant again after retiring and maybe not hearing anything for a long time. So
Sure.
hearing Hey 98 at the gym is a new one that you got to kind of get used to.
That's funny.
Being at my son's lacrosse in Orangeville after season 3, I had a guy staring at me for weeks in the dressing room. And finally he looked at me and he said, 98? And I go, yeah. He goes, I fucking knew it. He goes, I told my wife, but why would he be in Orangeville? Like, so then it's, But
he's got to be somewhere, right? Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. So after season 3, there was a little bit of attention. After season 5 here, there's been some more, and
I'm sure
it's nice. Like I said, it's a nice feeling. I don't care what anybody says. They can say be as cool as they want and say they don't really matter to them, but it's nice.
You're allowed to enjoy it, man.
Yeah.
That's the whole fucking point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know what though?
Yeah.
Like the acting thing is one thing, like something you never thought you'd be doing and you're doing it. But now this year, you're playing in NHL arenas against NHL alumni in a tour that's never been done before. Like, how is that for you?
Yeah, you know what? That was eye-opening. Never gonna forget a minute of it, to be honest with you. It's one of those things where if I didn't play hockey as a kid, I probably wouldn't have got on this show, and I wouldn't have had that experience. So to me, it's just an extension of my hockey journey.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's the way I think a lot of us look at it. Coming back to like seeing how many people were interested in this over the tour. I don't know what the final numbers were with attendance, but I got to say, fuck, just on the Western Swing alone, there had to be close to 30,000, 30,000 plus. I think there was 12,600 in Edmonton.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot of people
That's
to come
true.
to alumni.
Yeah. No, it was a great success.
And to have these alumni asking you for pictures and thanking you for coming, I'm like,
that's wild.
Which one got you most starstruck?
I was a huge Theo Fleury fan. Like when I was a kid, being small, piss and vinegar. I love Theo Fleury. But I'd have to say that starstruck was the Sedin twins. Like you're standing between two Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
They're talking to you. I scored a pretty nice goal against Eddie Lack that game.
Yeah.
Where I made him look kind of silly. And one of the Sedins, I'm not sure which one it was, came off the bench to tell me how sick that move was. I was like, like that's kind of cool. You gotta take that. But like as I didn't want it to end, to be honest with you. And you could see after the game with all of us just staying out there to sign autographs, to take pictures, to, just interact with the fans. We all enjoy it. And it's funny, a quick story is that we'd go watch Sudbury Wolves games in Sudbury when we were filming, probably like once or twice while we're there. And I just happened to be beside Jared, and he was just getting hounded all game. Like they just did not leave him alone. And it's like we're in season 5 now, so you've seen this guy. It's probably the same people, but it didn't stop. And I finally said to him, I said, Jared, do you want me to be kind of like the bad guy and say, hey man, just wait till the end of the period. He'll take his pictures, he'll take autographs, this and that. And he looked at me and he said, Bones, remember they could not be asking you for autographs and pictures. And I was like, you're fucking right. Like, so like, that's the type of human being he is, how humble he is.
We have witnessed it firsthand ourselves many times where he's given us more time than we should have taken. And
And you know what, that made me open my eyes to, like I said, to enjoy, how relevant we are at the moment.
Yeah.
And because it's not going to stay like that forever.
Amazing.
We know this. But, you got to enjoy it right now. And to be honest with you, I don't know if you read the piece from ESPN, the diary.
I was about to quote that. I have it here.
my kids got to see this. My kids get to see dad be a little bit famous, and if that's the only thing they fucking remember me, like I'm happy, man. Like they got to enjoy it, they got to see it, they got to be behind the scenes, underneath, taking pictures. The boys treat them like gold, and then to have Jared mention them in this article.
And I have his quote here. It was awesome. He's like, Bones kids get to see their dad score on a breakaway where the Toronto Maple Leafs play, and they spend the rest of their game with their shirts off in the stands. Like,
it's amazing.
Come on, they don't get much more real than that.
No, man. And you know what? He let me know that he was putting that in there. And I'll be honest, like, as rough and tumble as you are, those are the type of moments that kind of choke you up a bit.
So there you go. Now you have something you can draw on for your next acting part where you need to cry, right?
Yeah, that's it. I know. It's
we only have
that, or you got to throw some 8-5-3-5 in the eye and just burn.
All right, we have 8 minutes left. I want to give my co-hosts their last questions. Victor, I'll start with you.
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, listen, it looks like you're about to rip through your shirt. So Al, make sure you set it up so that we can send him some more t-shirts.
Oh yeah, you're definitely getting a TPS t-shirt. And you know what? I might deliver it to you in person because you're so freaking close. We'll have a beer.
Let's go to lunch, man.
Yeah, let's do it. We'll do it. We'll do it.
It looks like that one won't last past another couple of hours.
Well, I gotta listen. I gotta make sure that I gotta keep up to John. So John's arms are way bigger.
Oh man, yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you. What's your regime like? How do you keep the girlish figure, and is it more difficult as you're getting older?
You know what? I've always been skinny. I'll put it that way. If I didn't work out, I could be one of the emo kids on Letterkenny. So I have to work out. It's part of my routine. I'm on the ice. I have my own hockey school, so I'm on the ice 7 to 8 pretty much every morning. Then I have 9 to 3 free because all the kids are in school. So I literally live like I'm still playing. I go to the gym, I work out, I come home, I eat properly, and then go pick the kids up and do some work later on at night. But I try to get to the gym at least 5 times a week. And it may piss a lot of you guys off. I can eat shit. Like I'll eat McDonald's 3 times a week, 4 times a week, and I still have this figure. So
damn you,
well,
Brad.
listen, dude. If we went to the gym 5 days a week, so could we. I mean, I think that's the most.
Yeah, but you know
part.
what? Hey, if my sister had a dick, she'd be my brother too, right?
Matt, do you have any final questions for Brad?
I have one actually. So normally I'd ask, what it all meant to you, but I think in one way or another throughout this, you've sort of hinted at that, along being a dad and all that. So I'm going to selfishly take this in a different angle. And not selfish. I'm going to put my kid here first. So I have 3 kids. My oldest is 15. We're not a massive sports family. The guys on the show here know this for me, but he's suddenly in the last few years taken a massive interest in hockey. Right. I've been trying to get him on the ice as much as he hasn't actually officially joined a team yet. He's been playing floor hockey to get a feel for how to play. Yeah. And he spends endless hours in the garage shooting the puck. For someone who kind of starts into a sport late, what advice would you give to, build it? Because they're coming, there's a real culture in hockey. It's no surprise, there's some, intimidation there. Yeah. He wants to be a part of it. Like what advice would you pass on to someone?
As a father, you got to just relay the message that you got to just drown out the noise. This is something that you want. We've all experienced noise in whatever path we've taken in life, whether you're not the smartest kid at school, whether you're not the best kid on the ice, whether you're not the best dancer at the bar when you're out with your buddies, like you're gonna hear it one way or another, but you just got to drown it out. As for him, the 3 fundamentals of hockey: skating, shooting, passing. Literally, if you really want to do this, you beat those to death. Go to public skating, get them on the ice, like you said, as much as possible. It doesn't take much for you to go in the garage and shoot 100 pucks a day. You lock down those 3 things and then just be the hardest worker when you get out there, man. Like people love hard workers. Yeah. You don't have to have the best hands in the world. You don't have to have the best IQ in the world. Just go out there and work, be a good teammate, and listen, you'll enjoy the sport, and the sport and the people around it will enjoy you too.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. I'm gonna make him listen to this. So I appreciate that. Yeah, thanks, man.
Brad, you've been amazing. It's been one of my more fun interviews we've had in a while. You want to maybe take a moment to, I guess, promote your BB varsity hockey program?
Yeah, I think you've done it. You know, I have a hockey school here. It's more or less in the Toronto region, but now I'm north of the city. So it's, you know, BB varsity hockey. I run morning programs, 7 to 8 on Monday in Barrie, as well as Thursday in Barrie. And then Bradford, I run 8 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock in the morning. And then Tuesdays, I run in Angus, 7:30 to 8:30. Those are just like a morning program for kids that are in the area. We just chalk up on our skills. And, you know, other than that, just enjoy coaching and just being a dad. To be honest with you, it's being a dad's the most humbling thing in the world, just seeing smiles on your kids' faces and giving them the opportunity to brag about you a little bit is nice. I don't care what anybody says. It's still nice. It's a nice feeling, you know, as cocky as that may sound. It's just,
you must be the coolest dad in the group right now. Like,
you know, and be honest with you, I'm cool with the fathers of the hockey players more than anything, you know. So a lot of them don't let their kids watch it because, you know, obviously there's strip joint scenes and stuff like that. But I do let my kids watch it. So they grow up like they were born in the 80s. So I try to keep that tradition alive.
I love it, man.
Amazing. Well, Brad, you've been great for generous with your time today. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to play us off here and hang out after we'll have a chat. I'm going to play us off here with Going Gold by Joe Dolo. This is what we were hoping Team Canada could have done, but
way to dig it in there.
017. Old screen. Never go broke. We going gold. I'm protecting.
And that's all we have for this episode. If you'd like to support the podcast, become a patron or tell a friend. Also follow us on Blue Sky at ProduceandPod.com. Thank you for joining us. Now we're going to have some puppers with our new buddy Brad. On behalf of Brad, Matt, Victor, and myself, thank you for listening and have a great week.
Bands like never before. Don't like the grind, but get paid for a post. I'm from the north, get poked for 20. Icy roads, we sliding on skates. Playing night, slept with nothing in my belly. Praying tomorrow.